Hi, my name is Ling. This is my reflection on BCM303 final stream. Our group segment was an interview with the members of the third UOW student magazine and newspaper. The aim was to explore youth creativity through student publishing and give audiences insight into how the third contributes to creative culture at the university. Rather than presenting a formal interview, we wanted the conversation to feel authentic, relaxed, and community-focused. We want viewers to understand not only what the TED produces, but also why student voices are important within creative industries and university life. To achieve this, we framed the segment as a casual conversation in a pub lounge environment. The set featured warm lighting, drinks, magazines, candles, and comfortable seating. The interview itself relied on open-ended questions, allowing the guests to guide the discussion naturally rather than following a heavily scripted structure. I think one of the segment's biggest strengths was its authenticity. The relaxed environment encouraged genuine interactions, resulting in natural humor, laughter, and enthusiastic responses from the guests. The visual design also helped establish a strong identity that reflected the TED's creative and community-driven culture. The segment contributed something different to the overall show. While many segments focused on entertainment and performance, ours provided a more reflective discussion about writing, journalism, and student creativity. It expanded the show's representation of youth arts and culture beyond performance-based content. However, there were some limitations. Due to time constraints, we could not explore every aspect of the TED in depth. The conversational format also occasionally slowed the pacing and reduced visual variety. Certain movements, the host relied too heavily on scripted questions, which made the conversation feel more formal than we had intended. Overall, I believe the segment successfully introduced audiences to the TED while providing a thoughtful and visually engaging contribution to the stream. As the set designer, my responsibility was to transform a corner of the studio into a believable pub lounge environment. Initially, I developed a much more complex design that included posters, magazine racks, additional decorations, and various background elements. However, during our first rehearsal, I realized that many of these details were not visible on camera and therefore added little value to the final image. A particularly important moment came when I received feedback from my tutor about positioning the set. I originally wanted to place it closer to the wall to showcase posters, but I learned that doing so would flatten the image and reduce visual depth. That feedback completely changed my thinking as a designer. As a result, I simplified the design and focused on the elements that would have the strongest impact on screen. We used warm festoon lighting, plants, candles, magazines, and table props to create atmosphere while maintaining depth within the frame. Looking back, it was my most significant contribution. I wasn't simply decorating a set, I was learning how to design specifically for the camera. In terms of collaboration, our group worked well because everyone had clear responsibilities and shared the same creative vision. We all agreed that the segments should feel like a casual conversation in the pub, which made decision-making straightforward. The biggest challenge was communication timing. Because everyone had busy schedules, some decisions happened quite late, particularly around props and logistics. While we solved these issues successfully, earlier communication would have reduced stress and improved efficiency. Beyond my role within the group, I also helped with set transitions during the live production. This involved moving furniture, resetting props, and preparing spaces for upcoming segments. Because the show was streamed live, every transition needed to happen quickly and accurately. I was particularly involved in helping prepare the set changes between the What's Wrong in the Wrong and Bar Confessions segments, which requires significant visual changes within a short amount of time. What impressed me most about the production was how closely it reflected a professional media environment. Every person had a specialized role, but the success of the show depended on everyone working together. I was especially impressed by the director team. They coordinated cameras, transitions, timing, and problem solving while also providing constructive feedback to improve the overall production. If I could improve one aspect of the process, I would encourage more communication between groups earlier in the semester. This would help reduce last-minute changes and improve consistency across the show. This project taught me several lessons that I will carry forward into future productions. As a designer, I learned that simplicity is often more effective than complexity. Good design is not about adding more elements. It is about choosing the right elements and ensuring they work effectively on camera. I also learned the importance of designing for production realities. Factors such as camera framing, available space, and setup time are just as important as creative ideas. As a collaborator, I learned that communication is essential. More importantly, I learned the value of speaking up. I sometimes hesitate to share my ideas because I worry about being wrong, but this project showed me that constructive feedback and suggestions often improve the final outcome. Finally, this project gave me a greater appreciation for live production. It reinforced that successful media work depends not only on creativity, but also on teamwork, adaptability, and attention to detail. Overall, this experience helped me grow as both a set designer and a collaborator, and those are skills I will continue to develop in future creative projects. Thank you for listening.